This is the August Solicits that have came out. We'll go through them as we always do. And starting it off is Absolute Power issue 2. Makes sense. Second part of the event. Mark Waid, Dan Mora. Seems like a potentially good story based on the little teasers we've had so far.
Hey. Shazam, there's Shazam also got nominated for Eisner's, so...
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool that they're...
Did Eisner's just nominate anyone now?
Excuse,
that book's solid. That book's solid, but it was not.
I'm just saying...
maybe the art, unless it was just an art nomination. Like,
I
was not an Eisner nominee.
I just thought it was up there.
I think... Connor's out of touch with the children. I think that's what's happening here.
So.
Connor's somehow, despite being the youngest of the three of us, has become the jaded old man who doesn't like things that much.
I like lots of things, but that book it's a good book. It's good, but it is not Eisner nominee.
Oh my god, that is my favorite Connor line now. I like lots of things.
I do. It's just different things.
We got Absolute Power Task Force 7 issue 4. One of the tie-in books, of course. Obviously, remains to be seen if it's a worthwhile tie-in.
Hey, it has failsafe. I'm not interested.
I mean, that's a fair... I mean, failsafe, unfortunately, is going to be in the main story a little bit, because he was in the Free Comic Book Day thing, but at the very least, and I said this when we did the Free Comic Book Day tease, is that, while I don't like failsafe, it does make sense that his views would align with Amanda Waller. Like, there is a logic to it, but...
Sure. Yeah. But do I need a failsafe featured spin-off?
Probably not.
No, but I feel like each of these, judging from the last ones, each of these is a different one of those characters. So they're almost like one-shots, but they're numbered.
Okay.
Not like one-shots.
Don't get me wrong. Good writer. I'm interested. But
I don't know if Pornsak Picheshote, I'm probably butchering that, if they're good. I don't know.
He wrote
they're
The
both
Good Agent.
detectives.
Good
Oh, okay.
Agent was the detective, the last stuff.
Okay.
Very, very good.
Absolute Power Origins issue 2. Another tie-in, of course. This is focusing on Amanda Waller. That's John Ridley, so that could be a more worthwhile thing. Connor could shut his mouth because we've got a new Tom King announcement. A new 6-issue Prestige miniseries. Tom King writing with Jeff Spokes on art, and it is Jenny Sparks. So
let's go.
I
know
don't
Jenny
think
Sparks
Tom
is
King
now.
knows that the Wildstorm was supposed to be satire. I think he thinks it's genuine.
Right.
I don't think so, because judging from Outsiders and the weaving of Wildstorm characters I can definitely see him doing things with Jenny Sparks that match that tone.
Yes, but I think his views, him as a person, he is the satire. Like, so yeah, like that, that's why I just There's me not liking Tom King books in general, and then there's me thinking this is an objectively awful choice for him. Like,
I don't give a shit about Jenny Sparks, but I've not given a shit about a lot of characters Tom King's written about that I've ended up really liking. Do you think I cared about Human Target before I read Human Target? No.
Nope.
So
I actively disliked Rorschach until his Rorschach book, and then when I saw what he did, I was like, oh, it clicks. So, from my very limited knowledge of Jenny Sparks, and already enjoying most of what King does, I'm very curious to see where this goes.
Yeah. I don't really know much about it. In fact, honestly, I saw this announcement with just the image, and I genuinely didn't know who it was. I'm like, who's the character? Someone actually say the character for me.
Yeah, so you remember the Sentry baby that we got introduced to in Outsiders? What was that, 5?
Yes, I do.
This was the previous Sentry baby.
Oh, okay, interesting.
So, yeah. So I don't know how it's going to play in with the Outsiders and all of that stuff, but she represents the 20th century.
It won't play in with Outsiders at all if any of Tom King's previous works.
It'll be standalone. It'll be standalone, I'm sure of it.
Well, what I mean is playing with Outsiders, I mean the whole idea of the Sentry babies and all this other stuff. I don't think it's necessarily going to tie in, but to see where he takes this and, but it seems like it's doing superhero stuff too, because the Solicit talks about Captain Atom going rogue. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'll tell you this. If I had a war chest of money, I would buy like 400 copies of the Gilliam March variant and send a copy every month to Connor's house, just forever.
Dodgy dark my address.
That is a very Hey, that is a very, very expensive prank, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, the financials don't support it right now, but I just want you to know I had the thought. Like, not only am I sending him the new Tom King book, I'm sending him the one with the Gilliam March cover, just for the extra.
And
insult.
the variants are $6, so
Oofed.
that's
yeah.
yeah.
That's
You monster.
That's rough. All right, Gotham City Sirens. We talked about this announcement last week. So the regular Catwoman, Poison Ivy, and Harley books are all taking a month off, and they're doing this for 1 month instead, where it's like a 4-part weekly series for 1 month. So not much to say. Leah Williams,
written by Leah Williams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because she's not writing like all the other books.
Well, I think is she doing all 4 issues? I can't remember. I think last week.
She's doing all 4, and it's rotating artists.
That's right.
So,
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, for some reason they've split these up. The rest of these issues are further down the Solicits, so I'll just mention them briefly when we get there. But yeah. So we got absolute. Sorry, want to go?
Oh, I was like, I'm gonna need that Dotson's cover. I said it last week, but yeah.
Sure.
That's all.
Absolute Power Task Force 7-5. Again, for some reason, things that are shipping more than one issue, they've split up because they wanted to highlight all the first ones, I guess. But that's there. We have Batman 151. Chip Zdarsky's reign of terror continues. So
is that
Mike Hawthorne art?
It looks like Bizarro.
Looks like Bizarro, but he has a metal arm.
What's going on?
I don't know. I don't want to know.
Why is this book still going?
Well, because it's Batman, Connor, and see, people are not judicious.
Okay, well, I understand why Batman is still going, but why is Zdarsky's Batman still going?
Because people remember that his Daredevil was good, and they just keep hoping that it's going to turn into it.
Daredevil was good.
I feel like this happens with Batman a lot, that the writers get in a holding pattern, because this happened with Tynan, right? Tynan's was only supposed to go X amount, and then they kept him on. I'm hoping that we get a change up outside of the event ending.
Oh, that'd be good. I'd hope so, but we'll see.
Thanks.
We'll see. Superman 17. Looks like Zatanna's tagging along for this story, so cool. And it does mention Absolute Power too, so it does seem like the events of that are going to ripple into the books maybe a little bit.
Oh, is that a Sejic cover with Zatanna? So they've returned now that you can click through. That is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous.
Is that the one? Is that
with
the one
all
with
the street?
Yeah, with the Superman cape.
All
And
the capes coming out of the hat. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like a magician pulling
Like
it all
scarves.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
That's nice. Wonder Woman 12, which will probably end up being the best book of that month. Shut your face, Connor.
It definitely won't.
It's Wonder Woman teaming up with Robin. Yes, it will.
And then we get, oh man, this Green Lantern cover. Green Lantern 14. Hal in the Jet. Looks good.
That's good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Although it's that must be the backup.
It'll be the backup. Don't worry. Uncle Googie's not doing the main story. He's just doing the backup.
It is the backup.
Okay.
It's fine.
Ooh-wee.
It's fine.
That made me a little bit nervous.
Just talking about the Somni variant as well.
Oh,
yes.
Let me click through here. Oh yeah. Very
so good.
Very good.
But
yeah.
The way that it's playing with the light on there too, in the shadows, very Somni.
Yep. 0 Hour 30th Anniversary Special Issue 1, a new 80-page book by Dan Jurgens and Ron Mars.
Why?
Because it's the 30th anniversary.
Who cares? It's 0 Hour.
God, I'm gonna get tricked into reading this.
Writers Dan Jurgens and Ron Mars return to the world of 0 Hour with an art team compiled of an all-star DC talent to celebrate the landmark anniversary. What repercussions will their story today have for those for tomorrow? Find out in this oversized special, packed with action with your favorites from the 90s.
Yeah, this is like the mid-90s, the comic book.
Yeah.
I mean, Jurgens and Mars, and then art by Jurgens, Daryl Bank, Jerry Ordway, Paul Pelletier, Kelly Jones, and more.
Oh, are we into mid-90s nostalgia now?
I feel like people are.
I think kind of. I feel like the 80s nostalgia is never leaving. I feel like that's just going to be cyclical, but it does feel like some 90s stuff is now kind of nostalgic.
Also, Jurgens is very good at it, too. So, because the Death of Superman stuff wasn't terrible. Like, I wouldn't recommend it exactly, but I don't feel bad for to have read it. Like, it was at least interesting. So Jurgens is decent at writing in that style. So
All right, DC versus Vampires World War V issue 1. So this is conflicting because Rosenberg did the back half of the book, which at least me and Matt thought was a big downstep, from the first half. But that said, though,
I don't know if I finished it. I might have one issue left. I just kind of kept putting off because I didn't need to read it. And
I guess the potential here for it to be better is that Rosenberg isn't being just sort of brought in to finish off someone else's story. Maybe with some time to actually craft a story out of it, this might actually be a good miniseries. So I'm not against trying it, and Otto Schmidt on art's not a bad selling point either.
Yeah,
so
that's cool.
It's cool. That cover's all right as well. So
if that comes out on a busy week, I won't feel bad not getting to it.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be giving it a try.
14th. So it's gonna be like a week 2. How week 2's been recently?
Quiet, but I mean, I don't know what it's going to be like once all these event tie-ins and whatnot are out. Dark Knights of Steel, All Winter issue 2. Also, but just for the record, I think that World War V is meant to be issue 2 because it says 2 of 6 in the description, and I feel like we did see an issue of it already. So I think it's just a typo in the title.
I don't know. The rest of the solicit makes it sound like the first issue. The Smash Hit series returns.
Well, in that case,
it still is a typo, but just
just
I think it's the 2 of 6 is the typo. Yeah.
Fair enough. But we definitely heard about this book happening before, which is why I'm thinking we've already.
Yeah, there was probably an announcement already. Yeah.
Dark Knights of Steel All Winter issue 2. This is the sequel to Dark Knights of Steel, obviously. So
Viking Deathstroke, I'm here for it.
Yeah. Yep. I like Christoph as an author. I don't know what he's like in comics.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting.
I think he did one issue in like one of the tie-in issues in Dark Knights of Steel before, or one of the specials, or something.
Maybe one of the stories in the anthology special that they did halfway through. Yeah.
So what do you know Christoph from?
He has a series of books called like the Nevernight trilogy. I want to say fantasy novels.
Okay.
So makes sense for this world. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm interested to see Taylor with a co-writer, if that's how this is working.
I'm assuming. Well, I actually don't know which way around this is because
they list him first.
He's a novelist, so it could be his ideas and Taylor doing the script. It'd be a weird, or it'd just be Taylor, his universe, his outline, and ideas, and Christoph coming in doing the hard work.
Yeah, Taylor and the Solicits gets most of the shine, though. So it says superstar writer Tom Taylor returns to the world of Dark Knights of Steel with Federici to tell the story of an orphan child.
Oh, actually, it's 40 pages. Is it possible Christoph's doing a backup?
Oh, they could both be having a story, yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. One of them's got Federici on art as well, so that might be exciting.
That'll look at Federici's with Tom Taylor, so yeah.
Yeah. Batman Gotham by Gaslight, The Kryptonian Age, issue 3. So yeah, these Elseworld books, not started yet, but we'll see how it is.
I know it's not, but that's a very Frank Miller-esque cover.
With the shield, yeah.
Yeah, in a good way. Like it reminds me like good Frank Miller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Do you know, the variant, I'd say looks quite good, except for Batman looking very wide. He's got a really wide face on that cover, but otherwise it looks quite nice. With the lantern and anyway, Detective Comics 1088, art by Gilliam March. Oh, you just broke my heart.
Why is March on the penultimate issue of Ram V's perfect run? Why?
Because scheduling's tough, I guess. I like
get it. The man is the definition of on time and under budget.
Yeah, I like the Mr. Freeze cover. Like, that's kind of cool, but.
Yeah, but that's not a March cover, is it? So
no, of course not. And then the variant's quite nice as well with Batman and the Desert. But anyway, okay, well that's a shame, but hey, I'm excited for Ram V's. Like, we'll be finding out who's taking over Detective soon. Then if we're soliciting the penultimate issue,
probably next month they'll probably tell us. Once they solicit the last issue, usually. Yeah.
Batman and Robin issue 12. Oh, I watched the ad, really.
It's a good cover again.
Oh, Faria on art's kind of interesting, actually.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I might have to pop onto that one because Damien's going to Dinosaur Island. So.
Faria and dinosaurs. Matt has to jump in.
Obviously.
I'm a simple man. I like what I like.
Nightwing 117. This is a penultimate issue at Taylor's Nightwing. So we're going to have Ram V's Detective and Taylor's Nightwing ending in the same month. That's heartbreaking.
Well, guys, that'll be my last show then, because there's no point to keep going.
I mean, you say that, but I mean, not only does it mean a new team on Nightwing potentially, but it means probably a new book by Taylor afterwards, and same with Ram V.
What if they just swap books, Ram V at Nightwing, and
That
Tom
would be
Taylor
good,
at Tech?
that would be really funny.
I think Tom Taylor on Tech is not an out there possibility.
No, it's
because
not.
he's been progressing upwards. Ram V, I think I expect him to shift to something weirder.
Yeah.
Well, again,
here's the thing though. I think Tom Taylor's higher on the pecking order than Ram V is right now. I know Detective's arguably the bigger name book, but
I mean,
Tom Taylor's absolutely more high profile, which is why I say I can see him going to Detective. And it's not that I don't see Ram V taking the perceived step down to Nightwing. I think he's perfectly appropriate for that level.
He's definitely a Vertigo. He's a Vertigo type writer where he's going to want to do something like Jonah Hex. Or something along those lines.
I think it's very likely Ram V will end up with a couple of new books. So one will be a bit higher profile, whatever character that might be, and then the other one will be, Vigil Part 2 or whatever.
Yeah, I think even if it's a high profile character, it's going to be a side. But I don't see him taking on another like Superman or Action, for example.
Sure.
I think they've done this quote unquote weird experiment, with him on Tech, because his Tech has been kind of out there compared to most of those big books, and I don't think it's been like a failure. I think critically very successful, but I think they'll want something a bit more mainstream back on their main books again.
Yeah, I mean Taylor on Detective would be like this is going to be a more normal but well written book than Ram V's weird
not necessarily
but well written
better or worse, but more. Different. I think Taylor's a safer choice for the mainstream, right?
I mean, Ram V we love on things like Swamp Thing. We love his weirder ideas. I'm sure there's maybe some characters who could fit into that mold if we sat and thought about it. But I mean, I'm sure.
And obviously, he's proven he can put Batman in that mold and make a successful story.
Yeah, for sure.
But I guarantee you, it being just a little bit weird has definitely put some people off buying that book.
You might end up in a few Black Label books as well. I could see him sort of rotating in and out of there.
Yeah. He did Andromeda. So.
That's right. I don't know. I mean, I do know that Ram V's been teasing that he's got new projects at DC. He always talks about how, I was breaking a new story today, or I've been writing something you don't know about yet, or so on. So we know stuff's coming. It's just a case of, like, what will it be? So, obviously I hope Nightwing and Detective get good replacements, whoever they may be. But I think the real thing that is just exciting in general, without having to worry about it, is whatever those teams are doing next. Like, what's Taylor doing after Nightwing? What's Ram V doing after Detective? Because it seems like they're still both sticking around DC until we hear otherwise. But it seems like they're still happy at home there. So Batman Brave and the Bold issue 16. That's still going. You got Tim Seeley, Torun Grumbeck.
That's a Viking name.
I'll try. It definitely is. Yeah.
His ancestors definitely raided the coast.
If I see that score through the
she's been working on a bunch of Marvel stuff over the last few years. I think she did some stuff on Thor at one point, appropriately. I think it was around the time that that Donny Cates had to step away for a while.
Okay.
I don't know. I remember something was going on with him. He was like in hospital or something.
I think he got hit by a car or something. It was real bad. It was real scary.
Yeah, so I think she stepped in and did some stuff around there.
Interesting. Also, until you said it, I had no idea that was a woman. So
me neither.
Yeah.
Those Nordic names can go either way. You know.
So these are the rest of the Gotham City Sirens 2, 3, and 4. Birds of Prey issue 12 with a very colourful cover. I have to say, very different from what the books had up until this point. But I have faith in the book because it's been excellent.
It looks like My Little Pony.
It does. It's got like a very kiddie art style.
Again, that's not a bad thing. That's presumably the aim.
Yeah, well, we know the dimension hopping and stuff. The cover with Cass and Bard is quite nice, though.
Yes. I don't know whose that is, but I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, but it looks like we're getting bird imps, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
That
looks
chibi.
Looks fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's cool. Outsiders issue 10. It hypes up the last 3 issues, says grappling with the shocking revelations of the last 3 issues. I won't read any more, but so stuff's coming.
It's a great cover as well.
Oh yeah, the drumstick shatter on the planet. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not bad at all. But
that's one of those covers that, like, if you're in with the context of the book in general, like, oh, that's a big cover. If not, it's a pretty cool image.
Yeah, for sure.
And Matt had me convinced that issue 5 of Offworld was the last one, and here we are with Solicit issue 6.
Yeah. It's felt like that.
It says it's a surprising finale. Maybe it's a surprise issue.
No, I think clearly there must have just been a delay after issue 5 because I hadn't been solicited for a little bit. But here it is, issue 6. So cool, that's ended in August then. Batman Dark Age, issue 5. This is the Mark Russell and Mike Allred book. Action Comics 1068. Simone's little tenure continuing.
Yeah, but Rainbow Rowell.
I don't know who that is.
Everything I've tried from her has been awful, and then there was all the like racism controversy around her about a year or two ago.
Okay.
It was a whole big thing, yeah.
Batman Superman World's Finest, issue 30, and much like they did the first Batman Superman team-up story, it looks like they're doing the first Trinity team-up story now in this book. So
let's go. I only got Gleb on the art.
Yep, Mark Waid's still right.
For that.
Yeah.
Looks fun.
Power Girl, issue 12. There's a big axe on the cover, so Matt's probably hyped.
And Travis Moore art. Okay. What did I do? It's coming up Millhouse.
Neil Before Zod, issue 8. Surprised that's still going past issue 6.
But that wasn't a 6-issue mini.
I know.
Okay.
You'd have had me believe
Zod
it.
versus Sinestro. Of course.
Yeah. The Flash, issue 12. That's a thing. Still talking about archangels. Not archangels, archangels. This messes me up every time I go to read it.
I'm hooked in. I'm gonna have to get here.
I did not realize that, and now every time I see it, in my head it's just the Hot Fuzz reference.
Yeah, the joke. I just watched Hot Fuzz actually this past week, so it's fresh in my head as well. Sergeant Angle.
Never a bad time to watch Hot Fuzz.
Never. Yeah, I actually just dropped this book because of the annual. Made me quit it.
oh, really? After all that praise you were giving when I was saying it was awful.
Right, to be fair,
it wasn't for the reasons that you were saying. It was for very, different.
Yeah, it wasn't a unanimous praise either. There was caveats. It wasn't like there wasn't.
What was the reason for dropping it in the end?
It just kept getting messier and messier and more convoluted.
A lot of things. Well, Pete summed it up perfectly by it feels like Spurrier wants you to read every issue before you read the next issue. Yeah. Again. So there's a lot of stuff, and it's just so much to remember. And it's going in a bunch of different directions, and it's hard to keep it, straight. Especially that annual. So.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, just done. Titans 14. Obviously,
some great variants again.
Yeah, just continuing our story that's going on that I've been really enjoying. I think that book has only gotten better since Beast World. So, good stuff.
I spaced that they did the whole Swamp thing back a couple issues ago. So to see him pop back up, it was a nice surprise.
Yeah. No, because I liked the first arc, but I think Beast World was really good, and then the book since then, it feels like it's set its foundation for what it wants to be doing. And I've been enjoying how they've been playing that off. Okay, next up we have Green Lantern War Journal issue 12, which I believe is the final issue. It doesn't say
it says at the end of the solicit.
Yeah, they've stopped putting that final issue thing right in the easy part that you can see. But
just infer it now.
It did say last time it's now a 12-issue limited series, so hopefully Johnson's...
I'm not surprised by that though.
Oh sure, yeah, I'm not necessarily that shocked.
Not a matter of quality. I think it's a really solid book, but it had the makings of a 12-issue series.
Yeah, I do wonder, or I hope that Johnson gets something else after. I would like him to keep doing stuff at DC.
Yeah. Yep.
How is the next book not a 12-issue series?
Well, this was meant to be a 6-issue series. This was meant to be done at 6 issues, and then he said, now it's an ongoing. And that is Green Arrow, which is now on issue 15. Bloody hell. Oh, the Williamson fatigue is strong. Justice Society of America, issue 12. Nice
Which
cover.
is the final issue.
Does it say that? Oh, it does say that.
It does.
I mean, given how long it was taking to get some of the issues out, I guess it had to happen. I have been enjoying the book, though. It just, delays have hurt a bit.
A Jeff Johns book took time to come out.
Yeah, as much as I like it, I don't remember what happened in the last issue. Like, because it's been so long.
I mean, that's fair. It'll click. You'll come flinting back once you look at a few pages of the next one. I guarantee it.
That said, Jeremy Adams has said that he's not writing Justice Society, so because they're going to keep it going. So there'll be, a relaunch soon.
Sure. Why is Jeremy Adams saying he's not doing it?
Well, so when it got announced that this was John's last issue,
yeah,
I thought this was knowledge at this point. This is a couple weeks old. They had asked Jeremy Adams, someone had asked him, hey, so you're going to take over Justice Society? And he said, unfortunately, no, he has other things going on right now. So there is going to be a Justice Society ongoing, but not by Adams.
Well, hopefully someone good gets strapped to it. Shazam issue 14. I see alligatory, crocodile things on the cover, which is always fun. Yep. Shazam. We got My Adventures with Superman issue 3, obviously tying into the animated show, Josie Campbell.
A very fun animated show.
Yeah, I've not watched it. I've heard.
I've watched about half the first season because I just I check it on my lunch break occasionally. It's really fun. Yeah,
I mean, the fact that it's Josie Campbell does make me want to try the comic, and I know she's working on the show, I think, if I'm correct in saying. So, curious. From the DC Vault, Death in the Family, Robin Lives, issue 2.
Yep, this is the thing that they are doing where, right, what if the people had dialed that Jason Todd survived the Joker's beating and blowing up?
That's right, okay.
So they're going into that and giving us the alternate, which I think is a fun concept. I don't want to read it, but I think that's cool.
Well, here's something you want to read. The Nice House by the Sea, issue 2, the sequel to Nice House by the Lake.
What a good puppy.
Yeah,
it's a scary beach,
definitely
but
not going to be sinister, right?
No, not at all. Can't imagine an issue of that book being anything but happy and fluffy. It's not like there was self-harm and depression and all sorts of things in that first 12-issue series.
That comedian guy was getting them, Action Comic #1 sent to the house, so there was some joy in there.
We got Zatanna Bring Down the House, issue 3 of 5. This is the Tamaki book that's upcoming. So
monthly. I assumed that was bi-monthly, but
no, I think it's monthly.
Must be if it's on 3 already.
Yeah, I mean it's 5 issues, so presumably even though it's labeled as Black Label, it's not, because it's still only
standard 32 pages solicited, which means 20 pages. So why the hell is it $6?
I'm assuming that it is bigger format, like page size.
Nope. Doesn't look like it. Usually that'll say prestige or
I don't know. Maybe it's just a typo. I mean, check issue 2 from the last Solicits. Maybe it's just a hiccup. It's not like we've not encountered a typo already on this Solicits.
Those variant covers, you got a Lotte and a Dotson. So
all 3 covers are fantastic.
Yeah. All right. So The Boy Wonder issue 4 that just started last time. It was a pretty solid first issue, and similarly, it's Black Label, but it's a little. Although to be fair, maybe they're just regular size after the first issue. But issue 1 of that was bigger than a regular size issue, but it wasn't as big as the 60-page Black Label books. It was 35 pages, but it was 35 pages of content. I'm wondering if maybe they're doing a thing with these Black Label books. Maybe the reason why it costs more is because there's no ads, so it's actually 32 pages of content.
But both of those are saying 32 pages, whereas this one's $4.99 as opposed to the $5.99 of this.
It could still be a typo.
It could be. That is actually a possibility. I've not checked.
But having read issue 1 of Boy Wonder, it was longer than standard, but not as long as the bi-monthly big super sized ones. John Constantine Hellblazer Dead in America issue 8. And we got some facsimile editions, all new collector's edition 56. This is the Superman versus Muhammad Ali issue. And there's Primer, Clashing Colors, Teen Titans Starfire, that's one of the graphic novels, the young adult ones. Same with Batman, Robin and Howard, Summer Breakdown issue 2. And we got Primer, Clashing Colors issue 2, Super Pets Special, Identity Crisis, very funny.
That's amazing.
They're really stretching with the puns.
Really stretching that one. Batman Scooby-Doo Mysteries issue 8, Scooby-Doo Where Are You 129, and then Police Comics issue 1 Facsimile edition, and that wraps up the singles. So I'll just give you a quick rundown of the collected editions. I don't think there was that many of them from when I glimpsed at this yesterday.
Nothing's jumping out as amazing either.
Yeah, Suicide Squad, Kill Arkham Asylum, Superman 78, The Metal Curtain. These are just softcover collections of recent, minis and books. Alan Scott, Green Lantern, softcover. Catwoman Volume 4, softcover. Harley Quinn Volume 1, softcover. Speed Force, softcover. Green Arrow Volume 2, softcover. Elseworlds Batman Volume 2, new printing. Batman the Cult Deluxe Edition. So that's a classic story getting reprinted. House of Secrets 92 Facsimile Edition. Why wasn't that up there with the other Facsimile editions? We play that.
That's weird.
Sources. Same with Crisis on Infinite Earths 5. Alright. Absolute Batman 0 Year. You cannot...
Interesting choice for an absolute.
Yeah, honestly, my first thought of that is it's such a premium format for a story that I would call as a borderline turd.
But you gotta think, you have the art by Capullo and Albuquerque.
I don't care.
So,
I
don't look good, but
yeah, I don't care. I'm still going to not like the book.
0 Year is one of those things that I get angry when I get reminded it happened.
Oh, it's so
I don't dislike it as much as you two, but there are other things I would give an absolute to before this.
Yeah,
lots of other things.
American Vampire Book 1. This is a new printing or a new way of collecting at least the run. This is one of those big thick soft covers. It's about 350 pages. So
good, because there were some. I think a lot of the other editions are out of print.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the first 12 issues. So yeah, I mean, if they keep going at that, they'll reasonable number of books. Probably about 5. So I mean, because there's
like 30 odd for the first.
Because that's 1 and 2, and then the second one would be 2 and 3. But then once you get to Volume 3 and 5 also have minis in them in the original book. So I don't know how they're going to split that up. They might end up, I don't know. Like book 2 could just be what originally Volume 3 was because it's got a mini in there as well. They might not beef it up anymore. I don't know. Animal by Grant Morrison and Chaz Truog Compendium. So this is one of your big omnibus size soft covers, which is always weird.
That's a horrific size for a soft cover.
Absolutely.
712 pages.
That spine...
Why would you want to read that?
Yeah, because the spine's just going to crease if it's that thick.
Right? Okay. I say that in the semi-privileged position of having that version in omnibus, of that run.
Yeah.
And it's a good size omnibus. It's not like because there are some omnis that are like over 1,000 pages, and I think those are too big for an omni. I think up to like 750 is a nice size.
I mean, I think you can go to 1,000 for an omni. I think 1,000's fine. I think it's when you get to the 1,500 sort of levels that you're just taking
way
the
too
piss.
big. I think like the 1,200 ones, I think, are stretching it for me.
I mean, this is going to be 27 issues, right? Because it's the first 26 plus Secret Origins 39, which is
I think if you're doing soft covers of this, you have to split it in two and do like 350-ish page books.
Which they've already done.
Well, okay. Well, in that case, reprint them.
But assuming they're still in print, people, just buy those.
Yeah.
Just buy those instead. Don't buy this.
Or the omnibus if it's in print as well.
Unless you want a massive book to, I don't know, kill a horse with, just buy the other ones.
Here's an interesting one.
Experience.
Aquaman by Peter David omnibus. Now, this is a 1,500-page omnibus, so they wanted to do it all in one book, which is a bit too hefty. But it is interesting that they're doing this because a lot of this has never been collected before. And it even says at the bottom, 30 before never collected issues. So
I like that they're collecting them. Split in two. Just split in two.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, for whatever reason, DC decided that 1,500's a size they're okay getting up to, so... They only split it if it would be bigger than that, if they didn't. So, like, for example, the Silver Age World's Finest Omnibus here. Oh, that one's actually quite small. It's only 632 pages. That's actually weird. Okay.
Very, very manageable.
Okay, the Constantine Omnibus here is 1,100 pages, and that's volume 1, right? That's Hellblazer by Jamie Delano Omnibus. That's one where I'm like, okay, that's at least 2 books because they realize, oh, this is like 2,400 pages, so we have to split this in 2. But for whatever reason, they decided that if it's 1,500 pages for the whole thing, that's what they'll just put out. I'm not saying that's the right decision, necessarily, but... they've been consistent with that, though, because even going all the way back about a decade ago when they were putting out John's Teen Titans, that was like 1,500 pages in one book.
I know that they always have done. I just disagree with their limit. I think 1,000 should be the absolute max.
And then we got Legion of Superheroes: The Great Darkness Saga. We got Midnight Mass. We got The Filth, which is a new edition, Grant Morrison book. The Flash by Mark Waid Omnibus Volume 2. That's 1,200 pages, and presumably there's at least a Volume 3, I'd imagine, for that. Still to come, but cool that they're doing that in that format. And there's The Joker, The Man Who Stopped Laughing, the complete series, which is the Rosenberg book, 500-page softcover. Wonder Woman by George Perez, Volume 1, new edition. So this is the softcover they already put out a few years ago.
I think it's just a reprinting, yeah.
350 pages, which, again, I think that's like the upper limit.
It's a good collection for a paperback, for the thick paperbacks.
Yeah, I remember having some No Man's Land books once upon a time that were like 450, and those were okay, but that's like the absolute limit, I'd say, for a paperback.
Yeah, they're still quite a bit chunky, aren't they?
Yeah. But they weren't increasing this. But for me, where I see, because I remember the first time I ever saw a paperback like compendium, the first time I ever saw that for a comic was The Walking Dead. They did like the big. It was.
I think they might have popularized it. I think Kirkman did, because he had the two main compendiums I used to think of were that and Invincible.
Yeah, but that was like the first 8 regular volumes in one big paperback, and like
it was 50 issues, wasn't it?
That sounds about right. Yeah, it was. Yeah. I mean, 6 times 8, basically, whatever that works out.
I'm sure it was 1 to 50, and then the second one went up to issue 100.
Because I'm like, as soon as I looked at it, as soon as you open that, the spine's just going to crease. It's just going to like fold, and you're never going to get rid of that crease anymore.
Mm-hmm.
If you want a book that big, it should be a hardcover with sewn binding, but
which I get has its downsides. It's more expensive, but also, who's enjoying reading those? Like I get the value proposition, but there's a point where you should just buy 2 smaller ones instead of 1 massive one.
Yeah, there's a sweet spot, and different people have different sweet spots, but I think most people think that once you're getting over 1,200 pages, they're just a bit too chunky.
Yeah.
So, all right, there you go. That's the solicits for August. Nothing too surprising. A couple of books coming to an end, which we kind of expected, which might open the doors for going forward, but maybe the real news here is that either next solicits or possibly the solicits after, we will get who's replacing Nightwing and Detective and what those writers might be getting on to, assuming they're coming straight away. Sometimes there's a little bit of a gap, but we'll see.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see who does replace them. Like I expect Detective to have a more mainstream writer for it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless
they decide to do something like they did with Action, with the year of rotating.
They may. I would be less excited by that, because I'm not that thrilled about it in Action either. But
it's not been great so far. Who's the third?
Gil Simone's the third.
Oh yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. And I'm assuming Nightwing is going to continue as a book, but it also wouldn't completely shock me if they say, no, we're going to sunset Nightwing for a bit. It wouldn't surprise me either.
They could, but I think it's been pretty consistent. I mean, maybe it's just the Tom Taylor name that's kept it such a high seller. But I think it's been a high enough seller they'll want to continue it, and then if it drops off too hard with whoever's new, then they might just decide to cancel it after that.